All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to your fall 2024 semester. This is our first officer webinar for the new semester. We are very excited that you are back. It's nice to see your faces again, and we definitely look forward to connecting with you throughout this school year. So my name is Kristen Fouts. I serve the organization as the Director of Education and Chapter Development. So I oversee all of our education and leadership programs, both in person and online, as well as day-to-day operations. New face on the webinar on the staff side is John Colon. I will let him introduce himself in just a few minutes. But again, thrilled that you're here. This is the first of three webinars that we will do this fall, and then we will have at least three in the spring. Just so you know, since you are represented here tonight, stay until the very end. We have a post survey at the end that will need you to complete as proof of your attendance, and then your chapter will receive an SOE point for your attendance. So the same is true for each of the webinars that we have. You can get up to 6 points for SOE by participating. So tonight's webinar, Back to School and Preparing for Fall, is just exactly what it sounds like. We are back to school and we're preparing for what will hopefully be a great fall semester. We are excited again for the fall to kick off and to be able to support you and your brothers in really any way that we possibly can. So in tonight's program, we are going to cover a lot of ground. We're going to talk a little bit about goal setting. This will be sort of an interactive component, so be ready to unmute yourself and let us see your faces. Would like to hear a little bit about how your summer went as chapter president or as an officer of your chapter. Were you able to connect with each other over the summer? What are some of the goals that you have for your chapter for this semester ahead? And then we will dive into sort of an information dump, for lack of a more glamorous phrase. We have a lot of information to share with you from the international headquarters perspective. So a little bit about some new resources, including, again, John's new face, and we'll tell you about other staff at the headquarters. We'll talk a little bit about what happened at convention. If you weren't there, even if you were there, maybe you didn't pick up on everything. So we'll just do a quick recap. We will also share some reminders from Shelley Laughlin, our Chief Financial Officer, some reminders, due dates, etc. And then we will also share information about our upcoming programs. Those programs will take place primarily in January and February, so you might not be in your position, but we rely on you to pass along the information and to get it on the chapter calendar so that it's not a surprise when the time comes. Finally, just some other due dates and deadlines, and certainly plenty of time for your questions and for hopefully us to be answered. Or to answer those. So again, stick around until the end. We will share a QR code for that post survey for proof of your attendance. So let us dive in here. So I want to hear from you. I want to hear how your summer went from sort of hopefully you relaxed. Let's say that first and foremost. Hopefully you got some downtime, maybe some time with family and friends. Maybe you had an internship or a job, maybe both. But hopefully you also were able to connect with your brothers, especially those in other leadership positions, to talk about maybe what happened in the spring, lessons that you learned from the spring, and then most importantly, really what you want to be aiming for success in the fall. So we have a bit of a framework that we use at some of our educational programs, which very simply is just a stop, start, continue framework. So this is what are some things that you want to start doing this fall, perhaps, or this academic year? Likewise, what are some things that you want to stop doing? So maybe, again, an important lesson that you learned from the spring semester, something that you want to discontinue. It might be behavioral, might be a program that's no longer needed. And then finally, continue. So what's something that really did work well for you, something that you want to maintain, might require some improvement, but generally you're going to keep it around for the fall semester. So I won't call on you, but I hope that you will engage. Feel free to either raise your hand or just unmute, introduce yourself, and I'd love to hear from you.
Sure. I'm Jackson. I'm from the Eta Upsilon chapter at Santa Clara University. Benjamin Randall over there is our president. I'm the Brotherhood Development
Awesome.
Director. This year, we're really looking forward to revising the structure of our fraternity and how we both establish ourselves on campus and also together. Starting in the winter quarter, we're going to be revising our calendar to focus much more on our internal brotherhood development. With recruitment being big in the fall, we want to make sure that people know that we exist. And then
Mhm.
once people know that we exist and join, so that we can continue our amazing growth that we've had over the last couple of years, we want to make sure that we're all getting more tight knit in the winter and spring quarter. I think that we've done a great job staying more connected this summer more than ever,
Good.
going through just traveling to see each other, making a greater effort to spend time with each other. I actually just got back from a 2 week backpacking and camping trip with a few of our brothers.
Very
We
cool.
had other guys who flew across the country to visit each other, and even people who flew to like England and India to visit each other. So we're really, really proud of the brotherhood that we've been developing. Not saying that just because I'm the BDD, but because I think that it is something that makes our chapter stand out from others on our own campus, and we're really looking forward to continuing that. We are also looking forward to stop having unnecessary chairs that are there just to serve the purpose of being a chair. Last year, we created this new chair called the inventory chair because we had a lot of things that were, I guess, piling up. But the inventory chair was a bit of a couch potato. He didn't really do anything. So this year we will not have an inventory chair. So we're just looking forward to being more organized and a little bit more professional year over year so that we can keep expanding and establishing ourselves as the best fraternity on our campus.
That's awesome. Thank you, Jackson. Toot your own horn. You are BDD. BDD has a big job, so please toot your own horn. That's totally fine. I'm
I love my
excited
job.
about you maintained your brotherhood, probably ramped it up significantly with all the travel and just maintaining connections. So that's really exciting to hear. Please let us know if you need any help with those structural changes. I know that sometimes is easy if it's just a matter of cutting a chair position or two, but certainly if you need any support, training support or anything, please just reach out to us and we're happy to help. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Jackson. Anyone else?
Don't be shy. We don't bite.
Randall, you're up, dude. Come on, pick up
All
where I
right.
left off.
One thing, I'm Ben Randall. I'm chapter president of the Ada Epsilon chapter at Santa Clara. Friends with Jackson over here. One thing that we definitely hit on over the summer that we want to start doing is we need to start getting better attendance. So, kind of enforcing that 50% plus one brotherhood events, chapters, all that. Definitely ahead of Rush as well. We want brothers there to interact with PNMs and yeah, definitely want to enforce that. Attendance has been a big thing for us.
Yeah. You and I talked yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
So was I telling you about the motivating the middle concept, or was that someone else?
That might have been somebody else.
Okay. So attendance is one of those things that some people are motivated by the policy, some people are motivated by incentives, right? Like maybe there's a snack, right? Some people it's a little bit harder to to determine what it is that's going to get them to comply. So I think it's again, it sounds like you really know each other pretty well. And so getting to know what motivates people, whether it's intrinsic, internally driven, or extrinsic, externally driven, can really go a long way. So maybe it's not black and white. We have, an incentive and a punishment or a penalty. Maybe there's kind of a range of things, to get people to come out. Ask, what will it take for you to be able to come out to more events? Maybe they're just swamped with schoolwork, so you have to kind of be creative or flexible with timing of events or something like that. Just get to know what some of their barriers are, whether they're real or perceived, and that can make a big impact. Again, let us know if you need help. That can be a challenge in any size chapter, so kudos for wanting to tackle it.
Yeah, speaking of food, one of the things that Jackson is really good at, he's a fantastic cook. So for brotherhood events, for Rush, actually, we have a Rush barbecue the Sunday before our Rush week starts. And
Awesome.
we're planning to do some Jamaican jerk chicken. We normally do barbecue, but Jackson, you can talk about it too. He's planning to do some cool stuff.
I mean, normally we do like Southern barbecue. Last year we had brisket, ribs, pork belly burn ends, you name it. We all homemade. We stay up for like 3 nights in a row making everything to make sure it all comes out great.
Wow.
We got our smokers through other brothers who had family members who were moving, and so it's all interconnected. We really love to help each other like that. But this year we wanted to really change it up and try something new, do something that no one else had done before. And we have a lot of brothers who are from all all around the whole world. And we have this one guy named Phil. He's from Jamaica, and his mom has this, well, sorry, his grandma has this fantastic jerk chicken recipe. We made it for our 100-person chapter in the spring, and it was a hit. So we figured we might as well do it again in the fall and have
Absolutely.
an authentic Jamaican barbecue. So he's going to be helping us and showing us the ropes, because if we want to do it, we want to do it the right way.
Mhm.
And
That's
that's
really
just something
cool.
that makes our chapter really special. We do, like, we've done big bake sale drives for our sororities and for fundraising. Everyone loves those. They love getting both like gluten-free and regular desserts delivered to the door by handsome men in suits, right? Who doesn't love that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, we have a blast.
Recognizing and celebrating the talents of your brothers, including yourself. And it's also something that, you know, sets you apart. People that come to that event are going to remember, you know, that it wasn't just a regular barbecue with, you know, catered food. It was homemade and very authentic. So that's very cool. Very cool. All right. Anyone else? Stop, start, or continue?
Hello, I'm Cameron Shook from the Delta Atlanta chapter at Mama College. Guys are playing recruitment right now, so we're doing an event in about 15-20 minutes. So I'm just hopping on real quick. And we're just looking forward to this recruitment that we're doing right now, and just getting excited for this new school year.
Very cool. Very cool. Good luck. Reach out if you need me, okay? Awesome. Anyone else?
Hey, I'm Justin. I'm the chapter president at Gamma Xi UCSB. I think one big thing that we're trying to really focus in on this year is our finances. A lot of UCSB IFC fraternities in general have major problems with collecting dues, especially with the senior classes. They generally feel disconnected from the fraternity, not as involved, so they don't feel as much of a need to pay their dues. So overall, we're just trying to have high due retentions, making sure we're collecting as much as possible. But that's kind of our main focus, because, you know, a fraternity can't exactly run without money. So we're just really trying to focus in on that. But overall, looking to have a really great year, and excited to get it going.
Very cool. Justin, it's nice to see you. I know we've exchanged emails. I've had a couple phone conversations with different chapters over the summer who are facing similar circumstances, even a little bit more dire, where these seniors are just wanting to be expelled because they don't want to pay the dues. They don't want to, you know, kind of have to have rules in their, you know, final year, which I get to some degree, but you know, it's very short-sighted, which, you know, is easy to say as someone who's been on the other side, you know, being an alumna now for, you know, more than 25 years. So reach out. We have some tips, some ideas that we shared with those groups. So reach out. Let's talk about that. Different ways to engage the seniors, different ways to kind of be creative with their senior year and kind of give them some agency over it, which might, again, talking about incentives, right? Which might incentivize them to engage a little bit more. So reach out if you want. We can talk about that. Awesome. Anyone else?
Well, hi, my name is Max.
Hey, Max.
Ada Mu Cal Poly chapter. We're on the quarter system, so we're still got a couple weeks of summer to go. So we're kind of looking to get started on a strong foot as fall as our biggest quarter, with everybody coming back to campus. So the executive board and I are looking to meet up on a camping trip to just kind of go over business and see what we can get started in like a week before school starts. And that's kind of what we've been doing, just trying to stay close, communicate, and try to get those bridges built.
Yep, that's important. I created just a simple Word doc, sort of a table, a spreadsheet or a worksheet, excuse me, that you can use maybe at an upcoming executive board meeting for each of your officers to kind of share what they want to stop, start, or continue. So as we go along, I will post the link to that in the chat. So again, you can download it, print it off, or bring it to your next e-board meeting, just to kind of get a sense, you know, one by one. You have chapter-wide goals, I'm sure, or executive board-wide goals, but what are individual officers in your chapter hoping to achieve? It's kind of nice to be able to document that and follow up on it throughout the year. So Really appreciate you sharing. We're going to move on, but certainly if any of you want to chat more about your goals or some of the needs or opportunities that you have, please reach out. Okay. We will be sure to share our contact information as well. All right, so let's talk now about new fraternity resources. So I am on there under new fraternity resources only because my job shifted a little bit back in June. So I had been just overseeing our education and leadership programs, but then we shifted a couple roles on our staff. So now I am also overseeing chapter development. Some of you have probably communicated with Ricky Kirby and or Ryan Wallishin. They are still on staff. They haven't gone anywhere. Ryan is continuing forward with a primary focus on accountability and risk management, but also our heritage programs and partnerships. Ricky is Ricky. Ricky has his hands in everything. So Ricky is, kind of the jack of all trades. So feel free, reach out to any of us. Again, I'll let John introduce himself, but we are kind of your frontline contacts, again, for those sort of day-to-day, can you interpret this policy, or a question about SOE or the journey, or, training needs, that sort of thing. So again, please feel free to reach out to us or truly anyone on staff, and we'll make sure that that we get an answer for whatever your question is. So John, I've teased you up a couple times. Go ahead and unmute and introduce yourself.
For sure. Well, good evening, everyone. Once again, my name is John Colon. I'm the new Associate Director for Chapter Development. So my primary responsibilities, other than, being Kristen's sidekick in crime, is really just to be a resource to you guys. So just a little background about myself. I graduated back in 2010 from Lynn University. It's a small private college down in South Florida. So I have the experience from a different variety, tackling different things here and there. I pretty much held any kind of position altogether within the fraternity itself, even some of the old school name ones like vice president, things like that. But like I said, my primary role within the fraternity now is basically just to be a resource to you guys. I'm going to be the point person on the ground. If you guys need someone, to talk to text message wise, phone call wise, I'm very accessible to you guys no matter what. Email is also going to work out too, because obviously there's documentation that has to happen, things like that. And then realistically, just to kind of help you guys out as much as possible. You guys are just starting up the fall semester, which means that recruitment is now in full effect. It is in full swing. So I can be definitely a resource to you if you have any questions on how to do certain things. I do have a higher education background, so I am pretty good in understanding the politics behind, if your fraternity and sorority life office may be doing things a certain way, you may want to understand why. I'm also a good resource with that too. And I can even get in contact with them and, kind of help you guys, from a distance at that point too. But like I said, my information is right in front of you. If you guys want my cell phone number, I'll definitely throw it in this webinar as well. And I'm happy to be on board with you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Sorry, everybody. I realized that I wasn't sharing my screen. First webinar, we'll work out the kinks. We'll be perfect for next month, I promise. All right. So again, welcome to John. We are really fortunate to have him on staff. Again, given that he's a brother, that connection matters, right? I can only kind of go so far with the knowledge and the experience that I've had, being able to connect with a brother on certain things, obviously including ritual, but that really helps. So we're grateful for that. Also, again, his higher ed background, he knows how to connect with a variety of stakeholders, which is important for us and important for you, so that we can have good relationships with your campus staff and administrators, other headquarters, and certainly other partners that we work with, our philanthropic partners and whatnot. So again, we're very lucky to have him on staff. So definitely utilize your contact with him as well. All right, other new fraternity resources.
All right. So how many of you guys, just quick show of hands, have used MyZBT, have seen it, anything of that sort? Nice. Okay. All right, cool. So pretty much this moving forward is that you see in front of you is your primary resource for educational tools, whether it be for the returning brother that's coming back from like sophomore, junior, even senior at that point. And then primarily also for those that are incoming into the fraternity itself, whether they be just recent initiates, maybe initiates that have had a semester under their belts altogether. So this will help you guys in understanding better your roles and responsibilities, whether you're the president, you're the finance director, the operations director. Obviously, some people may wear different hats within the fraternity itself. So it's always good to know yourself. It's always good to know what you're doing when you're supposed to do it and how you're supposed to do it. So the 3 resources that are available to you within Recruitment University go over such as the following: recruitment roles and responsibilities. Who are you as, the person in charge of recruitment, whether you're the recruitment chairman, whether you're the president overseeing that specific area itself, operations. Everybody always has a hand in recruitment, no matter what position you are, even if you're just a brother at the end of the day, because no matter what, the organization is yours. The fraternity is your responsibility to maintain and also to upkeep at the same time. With that comes also, how do you talk to those people? How do you talk to the people that you're trying to recruit? How do you talk to your brothers that are in the chapter? How do you kind of take your experiences and kind of mold it into how they can talk to someone at that point? Obviously, we all come from different backgrounds in the university level. Some people are sports management majors. Some people are into economics. Some people are into business. Other people are into hospitality. No matter what, at the end of the day, it's knowing how to engage those people, how to kind of pull them in. Different people, whether you're at the recruitment table, whether you're in a meet the Greeks type of scenario at that point, it's always best to know your resources. So this is something that will, in essence, definitely come in handy with you guys. And finally, marketing. Always, the business mindset. How do you market yourself within 30 seconds? How do you do the elevator pitch and stuff like that? These are resources available to you guys, which are free. These are free resources to you guys. Remember the word free. How many people like free stuff? I know I do, especially when it comes to snacks. Snacks free, always on point with me. So you guys got to remember, utilize these resources available to you, utilize the people that are available to you, such as Kristen and myself, and then also keep an eye out, because you guys, by doing this, definitely can kind of go along with what you see in front of you. You literally just saw a ZBT 10. How many people like marketing? How many people like putting ZBT out there? How many people sometimes feel down that their university doesn't give them money to do that? This is one opportunity to take advantage of at that point. So like I said, everything is found in Plaid. Everything is found in MyZBT. So all you got to do is just log in, go through the different areas, and then these will also help you guys out long-term and short-term.
Awesome. Has anyone taken any of the courses yet? Okay, get in there. I think
We're watching.
yeah, I think the contest or the raffle ends, is it the 10th, John? I want to
Yes,
say
it's the
that
10th.
there's only about a week and a half or so left. So
Yep.
get in there, encourage your brothers to take it. Great, again, for returning brothers as a refresher, great for new guys who maybe haven't seen recruitment from this side. And every completion is a raffle entry. So you can't beat a free branded tent, no matter what your budget is. So awesome.
Sure.
All right, moving on. Let's talk about convention. John, tell us what happened at convention this summer.
All right. So just to kind of give you guys a rundown. So ZBT was had the honor and distinction of being honored in the Holocaust Museum. So we made a minor donation to the Holocaust Museum in the amount of $50,000. So that means that ZBT now has more exposure to those people that are visiting the museum, that are visiting DC. Obviously, everybody knows that we are the first and most primary Jewish organization with regards to college students. So with that name being put on that wall within the Holocaust Museum, it's another way to kind of tie us back to our heritage, tie us back to, unfortunately, a negative point in our lives, as brothers of a Jewish fraternity, and also a very diverse fraternity at the end of the day, because we not only let other people in as well. So we do that by ensuring that our name is out there. So that was a great gift that we did on our behalf to a good cause, and something that's very educational at the end of the day. Another thing that to kind of keep in mind, so our annual dues. So obviously we know that we have to pay things, whether it be to the organization itself, back to your brothers. What you put in terms of investment wise, and for the most part, it's an investment. You got to remember that at the end of the day. The annual dues did increase. Obviously, with the economy nowadays, certain things have to be covered no matter what, but it's always for what is coming for you, coming in the future, coming now at that point. So for returning brothers, dues did increase to $460. For new initiates, your new initiate fee will be $503. So make sure that you guys write those down. Keep those in mind when you're talking to, your new initiates, to your returning brothers at that point. Because remember, at the end of the day, your finance director needs your help to ensuring that you guys are flowing as an organization. If you guys do not have money, it will become harder for you guys to do things, and the word free goes right out the window with that. Lastly, so for those of you that are aware, we do elect a new president and also supreme counselors and directors. So our new international president is President Brother Barry M. Aarons from Gamma Tau, Arizona State, 1971. That is his class. So remember the name, Barry M. Aarons from Gamma Tau, Arizona State. Also, if you did not attend convention or you did not check out the ZBT Instagram page, how many people are aware by hands where convention will be next year? Anybody? Show of hands. All right, Cameron, you can come off mute if you want to say it.
Next year's convention is in New Orleans.
That's right. Who dat city? Who dat nation? We're gonna be in the Saints backyard for convention 2025. Those dates will be from July 31st to August 2nd. So make sure that you guys start planning that into your budgets. Make sure that you start kind of in essence getting feelers on who you want to send. Convention at the end of the day is your greatest resources, because not only do you get to experience what brotherhood looks like firsthand, but you get to send people that will be bringing resources back to you guys, you know, and that's where in essence one of the webinars will come into play, because someone can take what they learned in a webinar and then talk about it or even hear about it during one of the convention seminars. So keep that in mind. Once again, 2025 International Convention in Saints territory, New Orleans, July 31st to August 2nd.
Awesome. Very cool. Did any of you go to convention this summer? Awesome. Yes. I hope you had a great time. It was my first ZBT convention, which was fantastic. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, any questions about what happened at convention or about anything on this slide?
I had a quick question about something on
Yeah.
this side. So
Yeah.
I saw that I had heard from the guys at the convention that it would be $460 for returning brothers, but on the invoice that we got, there's some Stripe fee or credit card fee. I'm not really sure what that is, but that adds on another, like, I mean, it's not much, but it's another $14 per guy, and I was just wondering to
Yeah.
get some clarity on what that is.
Yep, nope, and I'm glad you brought that up. So that Stripe fee is a fee that we have. So Stripe is the company that we use, the vendor that we use for credit card payments. So that essentially is brothers using their credit cards to be able to pay for their dues. But Shelly just sent a message out, if I can find it quickly enough. I believe it said, if your chapter switches to ACH, like automatic like payments, or paying, is it by check, John? I don't know. I'll see if I can find the message here. Then that gets waived. So obviously being able to, I think if you're on Greek Bill, you can sync your bank to your Greek Bill, or sync to our bank. So again, you would waive those fees. So if you have questions about that, again, I'll try to find the information as we're going on, or just send it out to you all. But so the Stripe fee is for paying by credit card. We can waive that if you switch to like direct payment again, or I think it's by check. So I will look that up. But good question. Thank you for asking that.
Of course.
Okay, so every chapter should be budgeting for at least 2 brothers to go to convention. So that's travel, your lodging is covered, your meals are covered, you know, meals that are like during the program are covered, obviously snacks and, you know, whatever, that's all separate. We do have a limited amount of travel assistance funds for all of our educational programs, including convention. So it feels like it's far away, but you know, you're already working on your budget, you know, for the, well, you, in a couple months, you'll be working on your budget for the next fiscal year. So be sure that that is accounted for, because there are certainly some penalties if your chapter does not attend. So, again, if you have questions about convention next summer or anything that happened this summer, please reach out. We're happy to help. Speaking of Shelly, our CFO, some of you have probably had lots of conversation with Shelly or gotten emails from her, and others might not have. But either way, Shelly Laughlin is our Chief Financial Officer. She has been on staff for, I think, 12 years, 15 years. So she definitely knows her stuff. Invoices have gone out. You should be already starting to bill brothers. Again, if you're in Greek Bill, it's just as simple as charging everybody whatever the national fee is, which John just covered, plus, you know, whatever your chapter dues are. If you're not in Greek Bill, again, you should have a mechanism to start billing that out. Any changes to your invoice, primarily those changes come from your roster. So maybe you got, you know, billed for 53 members, but you only have 50. You realize that 3 guys graduated or, you know, were expelled or something, whatever reason, they're still on there. You have until September 30th to reach out to Shelley, and John, can you put her email address in the chat? S. Laughlin, reach out to Shelley and say, here's why we need these 3 removed, or whatever the number is, and she will work with you to get those taken off and then send you a corrected invoice. Okay, so look at the invoice, you know, really kind of spend some time verifying that it all matches up before you start billing people, and might have to change all of that in whatever system that you use. A key part of how she invoices, of course, again, is based on your roster. Your invoices are only as strong as your roster, which is only as strong as your commitment to reporting new brothers in a timely manner. And of course, cleaning up, you know, active brothers as maybe they transfer or leave school or whatever reason. So new brothers, if you're going through, if you're participating in recruitment this fall or in the spring, either way, new brothers need to be reported in MyZBT right away. They need to start to complete the steps in MyZBT. And then of course they need to be initiated within 72 hours of that. So it's a boom, boom, boom situation. Hopefully it's something that you're all familiar with and comfortable with. Again, if you have questions, please reach out. We would try to, you know, want to try and troubleshoot that with you now, as opposed to, you know, day after initiation or something. Again, keep your rosters up to date. John knows this. We have been pulling a lot of data for different, you know, things over the summer, whether it's convention or invoices or whatever. We are shocked by the number of guys who graduate still listed as a new initiate, which means that they never completed their steps, which means that they were never actually covered by our insurance. Only if a brother completes those steps, and I think there's a membership agreement in there that you sign, then you're covered through our insurance. So God forbid something happens, we need everybody to be official on the roster, again, accurate rosters, so that at least that piece is, you know, can be upheld. So plus we want them to get all of our communications and, you know, et cetera. So please, please, please do your best to keep those rosters up to date. Okay, any questions about updates from Shelley, rosters, anything like that? Okay, before I transition, I'm going to click send. This is that goal worksheet that I told you that I created. So let me know if you have any trouble with that, and we will, I can send that to you directly. All right, upcoming program dates. John, I think that's still me, right?
Yeah.
So we, of course, have a variety of educational and leadership workshops that we provide to our brothers. Again, they primarily happen in January and February. Maybe you'll take on a new position, you know, at the end of this fall, or maybe your chapter isn't on our election cycle. Let's talk about that. But if your chapter's not on our election cycle, and maybe you will still be in your position in January and February, take note of these dates, okay? Our President's Leadership Academy, this is for newly elected chapter presidents, is going to take place January 10th through 12th. We have been in Charlotte. We're trying out a new camp this year. It's just outside of Dallas. So save those dates, whether it's for you or for the incoming president. Again, this is a strongly encouraged program. I think it sets chapter presidents up for their best success. Really establishes a good, you know, some good connections with other chapter presidents, and of course with staff and other volunteers. So really strongly encourage your chapter president to go to that program. Virtual Officer Institute is kind of the prerequisite for the Regional Officer Institute. So by its name, virtual, we do it by Zoom. It will take place on January 19th. The program itself is about 2.5 hours long, and we do 2 duplicate sets. So we will have one program, let's say from 1 to 3:30, and then the exact same program a little bit later on for the same time frame. So same content, your brothers can just decide based on their availability which one they want to participate in. This is very sort of operation specific. So how to do their job, how to be successful at their job, the skills, the resources that they need to connect to be successful. The Regional Officer Institutes, which are in person, this is our second year back in person post-COVID. Those are a little bit more sort of leadership general, but very valuable because you really do get to connect with brothers from your particular region of the country. Learn, again, a lot of really valuable leadership skills. And one thing that we are doing new this year for all of our regional officer institutes is we are having a luncheon bringing in local alumni from the area. So a great opportunity for them to see our programs, for them to meet you, and of course for you to meet them. You never know what could come out of an experience like that, an internship, maybe even a job, or just a good connection with an older, wiser brother. So the dates you can see there, January 26th, February 2nd, February 16th, and February 23rd. We actually just finalized those dates with the cities. We are actually not doing a Hartford session. That one kind of fell through, so I apologize. I don't think any of you were in the upper Northeast. Let me pull this up real quick and I can give you specific dates in terms of where, and we'll be communicating all of this out as well. John, where was that? I'll post it in the chat. So Atlanta, we will be at the Emory Hillel. In Chicago, we will be at the Northwestern Hillel. Phoenix, we will either be at the Scottsdale JCC or at a location in Tempe. That one's still kind of up in the air. And then in DC, we'll be at George Washington University's Hillel. So really great opportunity to see a new campus, certainly to, again, to meet new brothers, gain some valuable leadership skills, and network with some alumni. Any questions about those programs?
Yeah. Do you know when we'll know about the dates for those programs?
Yes, as John is reading through his next slide, I'm literally going to be looking in my chat. I had just shared them with our team the other day. So I will post those in there. And again, they will get on the website soon. Now that the dates and locations are finalized, we'll be emailing out, posting in the GroupMes and all of that. Okay. Awesome. All right, John, you're up.
For sure. Alrighty. So moving on to the next point of topic. So obviously, like this webinar, you know, is something available to you guys for the most part. So how many people in this chat have houses? Just by show of hands. If you don't, it's okay. I didn't have a house either. So all right, cool. So if you want to learn more about the people that in essence possibly helped you get that house, had some role in, you know, talking to the university and stuff like that, this is definitely a webinar that'll be very helpful to you. This is going to be on September 25th. This one is titled Meet the ZBT National Housing Corporation. These individuals are a great team put together by a variety of people from different backgrounds, mainly within, you know, housing, corporation, finance, leasing, things like that. These people are a great resource if you have issues with your houses, if you have issues maybe with the leasing, or maybe your house manager wants to learn more about their role on how they're supposed to take care of your house and make sure that everything is being checked out, especially if you go away for the summer and the house is completely empty. This is something that the housing manager would want to know. So that is definitely one webinar available to you on September 25th. The next one after that will be on October 30th. It is entitled Succession Planning and Setting New Officers Up for Success. Obviously, for those that are working on a quarterly schedule or maybe just on the academic or on the New Year schedule at that point, you may be switching out officers. It also could be that you had an officer that maybe dropped out from their position, maybe because they were overstressed, they were overtired, or maybe they just wanted to kind of take more of a back of the house role at that point, which opens up the door for new officers to come in. So if you feel that, you know, maybe the webinars on Plaid or MyZBT aren't a great resource for you or not helping you enough, this is definitely something you're going to want to hop on. I would definitely recommend it. It, you know, the title itself says it itself. It's setting up new officers for success. We want you guys to be successful in learning how to do your role within the fraternity as positively and proactively as possible at that point. You know, it's also a good meeting place for a lot of other people that may want to, you know, discuss different ideas, discuss different topics, things like that. Everybody does things differently at every single chapter. The only thing that's unison is your title. So remember, this is definitely a good tool for you to utilize. My contact information is on the bottom of the slide. For those of you not in the GroupMe officer role chat. So basically, if you're president, you have your own chat. If you're officer, operations, finance, things like that, each one of you has your own individual GroupMe chat. So if you guys are not in that chat and are having issues being added, either because your predecessor didn't add you in, or you're just having issues getting onto it, definitely let me know. Shoot an email to me, or if you want, like I said in the chat, you can use my cell phone number. Just make sure that you do include your first name and your chapter and university name. Obviously, there's a lot of us across the US, so I need to know exactly who I'm getting in contact with. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Also, we'll have officer newsletters coming out at the first of each month. This will be, could be a one-pager just letting you know, hey, listen, new things are coming out for you guys. These are available to you. We might even be, highlighting specific officers from different chapters. Ace from Gamma Delta did this, so we really appreciate for doing that. It's a good thing to get your name out there, but it's also a good resource for you guys to keep, in the back of your heads, what's going on across, ZBT on different universities. So definitely keep an eye out for those. Definitely good webinars, and once again, they are free to you. Utilize them.
Jackson, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I'm wondering if the Housing Corporation can like provide legal services for the chapters who may be dealing with housing disputes.
Yes, I believe so.
Yep.
All of our boards do have attorneys that serve on them. So I'm not exactly sure of the protocol. Jackson, we can put you in touch with Amanda Andert, who's the executive director of the National Housing Corporation. I know she has worked with a number of chapters to go to bat against like landlords if you're leasing or renting a place. If you're looking into real estate to kind of advocate for you on purchasing a house or selling your house. So yes, Jackson, will you put your email address in there and I'll connect you
Yeah.
with Amanda tomorrow. I'll
Yeah,
send
please
her
do.
an
That'd
email
be
and
great.
copy you. Okay.
And
Yeah.
then is that paid for through our RBFs and dues? Is that a free service that's provided by the fraternity, or is that
To be
something
honest,
that's
I'm not sure, but
paid
again, Amanda would definitely be able to tell
Got
you.
it.
Yeah.
I'll just put it in the chat for everyone.
Yeah, good. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'm excited for that. The September 25th. All the webinars, let's be honest. But not a lot of people know that the National Housing Corporation can really help any chapter. It doesn't matter if you're housed or not, if you're renting or not. They have a lot of resources that can be really helpful. And Amanda and Natalie, who are the two sort of administrative staff at the NHC, are just fantastic. They're willing to answer questions, phone calls, and emails from anybody. So again, we want you to meet them and see, if and how they might be able to help your chapter in any variety of ways. And then about the succession, about the, kind of planning for the next executive board. We all know that, an officer transition can really kind of make or break a chapter for a year. If it's really bad and people don't know what they're doing, that has pretty significant impact. So if you're here, hopefully that means that's not your chapter. Again, we'll share some good tips and tricks for having a smooth election and transition period. So I did find Shelley's email going back to the piece about the ACH fees. I was correct. So she said if they can pay by check or ACH directly into the bank account, we'll remove those Stripe fees. So there you go. Again, reach out to Shelley to ask about that. Okay. Good question.
Also, really quick on Kristen's last point. So also, Shelley is a great resource as well to kind of lean on if you're not in full understanding of how to explain dues, how to explain the Stripe fee to a brother that may not, understand why they feel they're being charged extra and stuff like that. Also, she is willing to sit down along with myself to kind of help you understand your budgeting and how you guys are taking that into account, and also how that would also play into national convention when you take that into account within your budget as well.
Yep, absolutely. All right, we are in the home stretch here, everybody. Next, we are going to talk about chapter workshops. So if your chapter, really follows the journey really well, that you need to do a variety of educational workshops for your brothers. Even if you don't do the journey, that throughout the year you like to provide your chapter with, with important and useful information from sometimes an expert speaker, someone on campus, or anyone else. We can provide a variety of chapter-based workshops for your chapter. So here I've listed just a few different opportunities. So combating campus anti-Semitism, we call it CCAS, is really an outstanding program that we have brought to quite a number of chapters. We usually do 7 or 8 each semester. It's all about teaching your brothers how to stand up against anti-Semitism on campus, which we know is rampant right now. how to combat it in social media, how to combat it in the classroom, but doing so obviously in a safe and healthy way. We cover the sort of the history of anti-Semitism for context, so you understand where it came from, which can be helpful, especially for brothers that don't identify as Jewish. Can also be a good refresher and good training really for any brother. So it is free for your chapter to host any of these programs. So please reach out if that's something that your chapter might be interested in. Maybe not for this fall. I won't say 100% no, but we would definitely be looking at potentially more of a spring workshop. You might also not be aware that you can apply for heritage grants. This is quite literally money that the fraternity and the foundation will provide to your chapter to be able to do or utilize or to pay for a component of a program that your chapter wants to host that is focused on our Jewish culture, our Jewish heritage. So again, maybe you want to host a speaker to come in and talk about Israel or the war in Gaza. You want to host a Seder or partner with Hillel or Shabbat on a Shabbat dinner. We can provide funding for components of that. So that you can have a successful event. So again, reach out to me, reach out to John. We will connect you with other staff who oversee that process. Again, we have funding available that we want to give to you. We also have sort of pre-packaged grants. So so for instance, if you wanted to host a Shabbat dinner, we have, tips, recommendations, how to set that up in addition to the grants themselves. Other programs more so focused on chapter development. We have our Back to Brotherhood program, which is really kind of a morale booster. Let's sort of refocus on why we're here and what's important. It's an extensive program. So this is not just like an hour, 2-hour program. This can be up to a full day. But again, if your chapter is in a place where you just need a reset, this is a really good opportunity for your chapter. I won't go through all the rest of them. Some of them are pretty self-explanatory. The one that I do want to highlight, though, is You Can Help a Brother. This is a program that's focused on recognizing the warning signs of mental health disorders and distress, which of course, again, very timely, has been and will continue to be very timely and important for brothers. Most importantly, how to have a conversation with a brother about his mental well-being, and then how to find local resources as well as tapping into some national resources. So again, free for your chapter to host. We have staff that can facilitate it. We have volunteers that can facilitate it. We want to be able to support your chapter. So again, if you're interested in these or really any other workshop, maybe there's a topic about leadership or leadership development that you're interested in, again, we will either facilitate or help you find a facilitator for those workshops. Okay. All right. This is our last one before we wrap up and give you time for Q&A and certainly that post survey. So some of you, sorry, it keeps advancing an extra slide. Some of you might be aware that the Emerging Leaders Program, the fraternity's Emerging Leaders Program saw a facelift here in 2024. It is now a 6-month process, cohort style program that takes a small group of young leaders, young brothers who show really outstanding leadership aptitude and capability, maybe aren't in a position yet, but you really would like for them to be in a leadership position. We go from, we talk about their leadership strengths. We do the Clifton Strengths assessment. We talk about leadership models and theories. We talk about professional development and resume building. This year we had a VIP panel with 4 really the sort of top and most respected ZBTs in our alumni community right now, telling them about how they became successful, starting with their experience in ZBT. And then the capstone is a free trip to convention with a special sort of experience just for that cohort at convention, some neat sort of off-site excursions, as well as kind of wrapping up the curricular experience. So as you're going through recruitment, think about if you're going to offer, ex-sophomore, Joe sophomore or freshman a bid, and you really think that he has what it takes to be a great officer, keep in mind, recommend to him that the ELI applications will come out in November, hopefully before your election cycle, before Thanksgiving. encourage him to apply. It is not a terribly intensive process, but we are selective. So again, if you have questions about ELI, I am more than happy to talk about it. Again, just email me about qualifications, about the program, etc. So really excited to take on our next cohort for 2025. Okay. All right. Now we're here. Grab your phones, do that post survey. What questions do you have about anything that we have talked about tonight? Maybe the programs, ELI, where I didn't ask for questions in the moment.
Yeah, I have a question.
Mhm.
So you talked a little bit about combating anti-Semitism on
Mhm.
campus. I think it's not a secret that pretty much all of that comes from misinformed students who are part of the
Mhm.
Students for Justice in Palestine movement. And I'm wondering, so you talked about giving us grants to, I guess, showcase the good parts, or I guess why Judaism is so good. Like,
Mhm.
could we get a grant, for instance, to host like a public seder to show people the community building that Judaism provides for our community?
Yeah,
Or
absolutely. That's
or
exactly what it's
are there
intended
some
to
other
do. Yeah.
resources that
Yeah.
you can help give us so that we can push back against those frankly evil organizations who are like physically and also like verbally threatening
Yeah.
not just like actual Jews, but just people who they think are Jewish.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's scary to be on campuses right now, no matter who you are, but especially if you identify as Jewish. You're walking in, potentially to a house with letters on it that people know is a, historically Jewish organization. And that can really be scary. We have chapters that are scared to recruit on campus right now because again, physical attacks, verbal attacks. Yes, that is exactly what the Heritage Grants are intended to do, is to help you spotlight Jewish culture and heritage, and to kind of showcase, for lack of a better phrase, to other students. It can also certainly be used for more internal, programs and activities within your chapter, including alumni. So again, I have your email address. I will also connect you with Lucy Silverman and Ryan Wallishin, who oversee the Heritage Grant process. You mentioned a second thing. What was the second thing? Oh, the attacks, sometimes physical damage we're seeing. We are, I believe, and we will confirm this, but I believe we are going to be continuing our security grants that we offered last year as well. So a lot of chapters took us up on that, and we are very grateful that they did. It's an opportunity to get some funding support for security improvements at your chapter house or wherever, brothers might be living. So ring doorbells, floodlights, cameras, etc., fixing a gate that's broken, any number of things. So again, I will confirm that. You'll be getting more information about that from the headquarters soon, hopefully. But yes, again, I will connect you about the Heritage Grants, and we'll work with you to get that started.
That would be great if you could just facilitate a little intro for me.
Yes, yes,
That'd be fantastic. Thank you.
100%. Absolutely. Thanks, Jackson. Any
And,
other questions?
And just to follow up really quickly with Jackson, your question, I did, and this is for everybody in the group. I did include both Ryan and Lucy's email addresses in the chat itself too. So if you guys feel more comfortable talking to them directly as opposed to going through us at that point, please, by all means, the email address is there. They're very accessible. This is literally their forte. They deal specifically with resources on heritage, resources on integrity, stuff like that. So, and also Ryan is very knowledgeable when it comes to the grants as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
I had a question. I'm trying to submit the survey, and is anybody else getting an error that this field is required for
Which
back to
field?
fall?
Is it the which session you've attended?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will, since you all attended, I will take your email addresses off of the registration, and I will send you the link. I apologize for that. We'll get that taken care of.
Sounds good. So we'll have to resubmit the survey once you correct that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, yep. Sorry about that. Let me share my screen again. Oh, there you go. Yeah, the survey's not working, so we'll send that out separately. All right. Any other questions, comments before we let you go? All right. Grateful that you were here. Thank you very much for being so engaged with us. we look forward to working with you. We look forward to hearing from you. Again, just keep in touch. Just reach out however you might need us. Hopefully we will see you at our September webinar. And in the meantime, good luck with the start of school if that's already happened or if that's coming up. Good luck with recruitment, and we'll see you around soon. All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank
one, guys.
you.
Nice meeting you.